welcome our MC this morning, WSBEVC, Raquel Slowinski.
I'm so excited today to be your MC. You know, first of all, before I get into my message, I just have to say, was yesterday awesome? How was free
They cannot save seats anymore.
Was it good? Yes, we had like 3-4 meetings going on at the same time.
You gotta clear the stairwell, ma'am.
It was incredible.
If you're going over this seat, you gotta go over there and sit.
The first event. I became a campaigner about 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. At that time, I was a college student. I had no background in business, no background in finance. I had no background in anything but taking tests, right? All my life growing up, I knew that I wanted to do something significant with my life. I wanted to do something where I could work with people, help people, build them up. I wanted to... Anybody here, you like to help people? Yes? Okay, then you're in the right room. And I saw my parents come to this country and struggle a lot. They went from a very grateful life to a very uncomfortable life. And I was there firsthand to witness it. And in those moments, I realized that yes, I want to help people, but no, I do not want to be broke. Anybody here, you want to be financially free? Yes. And I wanted to do both. So of course, I was on my way to study medicine when I was introduced to this business. And I remember coming to an awards night like last night. And I remember sitting like up there somewhere that I looked like just a dot, you know? And I didn't understand any of the categories. I didn't understand anything they talked about. But all I knew was how I felt. And it was like I was having an out-of-body experience. Because I saw things I'd never seen before. I heard things I'd never heard before. I heard people talk about things like changing their life. I never heard about changing your life. Taking control of your future. I never heard about taking control of your future. Retiring your parents. I never heard about those things. And so it's very foreign for me. I didn't understand much. You probably feel the same way, especially if it's your first event. But you know, I made a decision that night, an awards night, that one day I was going to be one of those people. At that time, I was single. I didn't have any kids. But I made a decision that one day I would walk the stage with my spouse and my kids. And I'm so proud that last night we were able to do that. And so I want you to know, especially if it's your first event, that your day is coming too. Just stay here, stay focused, especially today. This is going to be an incredible event, but you need to be focused. The more disciplined you are, the better this event will be for you. The more focused you are, the more you're going to get out of it. The more notes you take, the better you're going to internalize and retain it later on. So make sure you've got your notebook and your pens. So before we go into our session today, I would like to share with you a little bit about my story. So I was introduced to this business by my oldest brother, and later on, as I said, I was single, and thank goodness for this business. It taught me how to find the right spouse, okay? Hey, you can find the wrong spouse, is that right? Yeah. So I was able to learn how to find the right spouse. I didn't find him in the business, though I know many people have done so. I didn't find him in the business, but I was very fortunate that he sold his government contracting company shortly after we met and came into the business full time. So, I get to build this business with my spouse every day. But also we have other members of my family. In fact, my parents are in this business. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. We're all in the business. And now I saw my nephew last night walk the stage and get recognized for his $100,000 ring at, 24 years old or something like that. How incredible. In our family, there's 3 generations and 17 licensed agents. And growing. All right, so last night, we got a lot of awards and we saw people get recognized. But I want to remind you that, those awards and those recognition represents families' lives that we change. Or we're in the process of changing. Or we're trying to change. Or we're giving our best effort to help people change their lives. Does that make sense? And so I am one of those lives. I'm probably not what the typical financial industry would look for, okay? But I'm so glad that someone introduced me to WFG and that I happen to be born into the right family of WSB and coached by Swan and Alicia and all of the WSB team. And as a result, it's changed my life. Like I said earlier, I heard things at our first event that I'd never heard before, like travel the world. Travel the world? What are you talking about? But over the years, we've been able to travel to many destinations. And I'll tell you, it has never meant more to me than now. Because for those of you who know me, I've always taken my parents to super trips. But today, my dad cannot even walk to the bathroom. And when I'm there with him, I never think about this moment. What I think about is the moments that we walk the streets of Paris, that we walked in Thailand, that we, climbed Marble Mountain in Vietnam, that he was on the boats of Halong Bay. Those are the moments I think about today. And one of the other things I heard is that you can be a hero to your family. I may not know what that meant at that time. So of course, many of you guys know our oldest, Emma, okay? She's 12 years old, and if you know me, one of the biggest things, one of my dreams is to have a big family, and it seemed to be the one thing I struggled with. In fact, today makes it 5 years exactly that we lost. We had our second loss in 2021. Today, 5 years ago. And at that moment, when our daughter died after 2 days, after 2 days, hopeless. But I felt hurt, but never hopeless. We were sad, but we still knew that we had a bright future. Even though my time for maybe carrying a child, because it was risky for my life, might have been over. I share this story with you today because it's because of the business we built here at WSB that, we were able to take other routes. So immediately we sprung into action. Because what do we learn in WSB, right? We learn to take action. We learn to focus on the solution, not the problem. And so immediately Rob and I looked for another solution. And we then went through 10 rounds of IVF, which if you know anything about it, I think Diane Chow yesterday shared a little bit, right? She needed 50 grand, so times 10. And we were able to create our embryos. But then the problem is I couldn't carry. So we had to find 3 amazing people to help us carry. And in 2023, we welcomed Amelia. In 2025, we welcomed Matthew. And actually, this is Matthew's second convention. And second time on stage, so he's an expert. And about 2 weeks after G25 last year, we had the amazing pleasure of welcoming Joshua into our lives. And so when we say things like, this business changed my life, we're not talking about something shallow. We're talking about making our deepest and most personal dreams come true. And I want you to know today, ladies and gentlemen, that many people ask us every day, they say, how do you guys do it? You have so many little kids, right? How do you do it? And you run a business and your parents are ill. How is it possible? But I think you're asking the wrong question. I never ask how, I only ask why. And what you see on the screen right now is my why. So when you know your why, how doesn't matter. Does that make sense? Yes. So many of you last night, you may say, how can I do it? How can I do it? You're asking the wrong question. It's not how can you do it, it's why should you do it. All right? Thank you for sharing my story with you. As we move on, I want to introduce our next speaker. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have an incredible schedule for you. And I ask that you stay as disciplined as you are right now. Right now, I look around the room, everybody is seated, everybody's quiet. I need you to stay this way. I need you to stay disciplined because your family deserves it. And your future deserves it. So without any further delay, I want to introduce to you our first speaker of this morning. And this gentleman, has been in the business for about 30 years. And, him and his wife, I really look up to them as couple power in this business. I always see them at the meetings. I always see them building the business together. And, true role models for us to follow. I know he comes from an engineering background, but he came here and has been able to build an incredible organization, is one of the leaders that leads from the front with his whole heart. And so if you guys can help me welcome to the stage our Titan X coach, Mr. Victor Salvador.